Welcome back to another edition of Ego and Break. I'm your host, Dynamite J. Andrews. Got the Mississippi Madman, Logan Creed, sitting to my side. And today we're going to talk wrestling. Ring of Honor Final Battle 2020.
Did we get it right?
Yeah. How many predictions we got right? Not very many.
Well, part of it wasn't our fault. They had a lot of people that couldn't come in because of virus situations and travel situations.
And then if we got time, I'm going to do a paid tribute to Danny Hodge and Brodie Lee. Both passed away this week. And maybe share some memories that we have of them. But we'll jump off real quick with Final Battle.
All right. The pre-show was Tony Deppen versus LSG versus Josh Woods and Dak Draper.
Yep.
I remember we both picked Dak Draper.
We both picked Dak Draper, and we both were wrong. This was a really good match. I thought it was well laid out. They laid the match out to where you thought Dak Draper was going to win. It was basically like a 3-on-1 for the most of it. They did it like tag rules. Anybody could tag anybody, but it was lucha rules as well, where if you slid out, so it's cool, but like the commentator says, Dak Draper says can't win if you're not in the match. So he pretty much stayed in the match as much as possible. A few blind tags, that kind of thing to get him out, but for the most part, it was him versus everybody else.
Well, wasn't Tony Deppen's win basically somebody hit a finish and he caught the pin?
I think so. It was something similar to that where he got it rolled. He rolled the guy up basically and snuck out the victory.
Oh, and I was just talking to you a while ago in the restaurant here about the pure tag team match, and it did happen. It was on the pre-show.
I saw that as well.
So, jackass, you told me you didn't see it.
I couldn't remember what I saw. It's been a week since I've seen it.
It was Tracy Williams and Rhett Titus versus Yehi and Wheeler.
Super good match. I dig the Yuta Yehi tag team. Like
I'm about to go watch.
Like the double Yeyes or something. Like both names starting with a Y. I think they need to have like Y inspired, like the yo-yos or something. I don't know. A cool match.
Did the rules work in the tag?
It did. What they did was, if your partner came in and broke up a pin, it counted as rope break.
Oh, okay.
So super cool, and they played it in because I think both teams couldn't break up a pin at one point or a submission at one point because they were out of rope breaks. If you broke it up, you were disqualified. So the rules worked very well, and I'll tell you, for Yehi and Yuta lost, but there was several moments where you thought they were going to win.
Cool. So if anybody wants to see that, it is on Fight TV for free.
It was on YouTube. The first hour was on YouTube as well. That's where I saw it. I only saw the first hour. So,
well, the first match for the actual Final Battle pay-per-view was Jonathan Gresham and Jay Lethal versus PCO and Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, this was crazy as well.
I loved it. I thought it was a great match.
It was cool in the fact that Jay showed up and EC3 wasn't able to come, so he was like, "Chicken, hey, be your partner." He was like, "Sorry, buddy, but I got me a monster now." So it was pretty cool. And Shane Taylor's match, he was supposed to be in the fight for the 6-man, him and SOS, and the other 3 guys were not able to make it. And Shane was basically like, "Yo, Jay, we got unfinished business."
So now they're 1-1, and you'll see what I'm talking about a little later.
It was pretty cool. So.
But during the match, I like that Gresham would try to grab a wrestling hold on one of these two, and they just punch him in the face. Yeah. And they're like, "This is wrestling." He's like, "Well, we're here for a fight." So eventually, they gave up on the pure rules too and went for the fight.
Right. It was a super crazy match for sure.
But in the end, PCO got defeated by Gresham and Lethal to retain the title.
I think this might have been the last match I saw.
Really? Okay.
So
you got 3 matches for free.
I think so.
Okay. Next was Ray Horus versus Dalton Castle.
Definitely didn't see this match.
I thought it was a decent match. Not a great match, but a decent match.
I think Dalton has really, really good matches with certain people.
And Dalton, no, it wasn't just that. It was kind of short. You know what I mean? Like it was good. It just could have been
better. 5 more minutes
would probably been a good match. I just give it a decent television.
I think Ray Horus was. Is he one of the 6-man tags?
Yes, he is. But when he come out, he did have some boys, but it was not the original boys. There were some boys that I don't know who they were, but they were some boys, and they were heavier boys.
I got you. I miss the Tate twins being the boys. Don't know why. that wasn't like kept. I mean, they were perfect for the gimmick.
That's me.
So
that was a situation with this whole deal. They may have been. Were they out before this stuff happened?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I really don't know. All right, the next match was the Righteous versus Mike Bennett and Matt Taven.
How was this?
It wasn't as much a brawl as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
It was actually a pretty decent tag match. I still like the first match better, but this was not a bad match.
Taven, his team win?
Yes, they did.
Yep. I think I picked the Righteous, but knew the Taven.
Yeah, we both did, and we were wrong.
Yeah.
Next was Danhausen versus Brian Johnson.
Big fan of Brian Johnson.
I don't know Danhausen. It was my first match. I absolutely hate him, to be honest with you. Because
Tell us how you really feel.
I'm sorry, it was terrible. Anybody sees this match and tells me otherwise, it was good. It wasn't. The Brian Johnson guy was more or less doing the old Jerry the King Lawler match where he had the microphone in hand the whole match, and of course in the end it goes against him, and Danhausen steals the damn mic and goes and hits the top of the damn microphone and throws it to the
ref.
No, throws it to Brian Johnson. The ref turns around and literally walks over and looks at the top of the microphone as if he was telepathic and read his mind all of a sudden, and he knew to go look at the top of the.
Well, he heard the sound.
And it was so bad.
He heard the sound, so he knew that if there was a sound, it had to come from plunking the microphone.
And
so
it just was not good.
The ref knew that if it had paint, Brian Johnson used it. If it didn't have paint, Danhausen used it. That's
it was bad, man. And I'm sorry. Maybe Danhausen has a better gimmick, and maybe I missed it because it's the only match I've ever seen of the guy. But what I've seen so far, I absolutely despise.
I'd never heard of him, but then like last month or the month before, Pro Wrestling Tees in their crate had used him as a pin. And I
remember that.
I was like, who's this? So I kind of looked his picture up or whatever just to see who he was.
I saw a promo with him and the War Horse.
Okay.
That's how I first ever saw him, but I'd never seen him wrestle to this.
I don't think I've seen
And
him.
I ain't going to say the match itself was bad. It was just the whole...
It was bad. Wasn't bad.
To be in Ring of Honor, it just didn't fit.
Mm-hmm. It would have been great at your local indie, but not Ring of Honor.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. Like if it was at Ego or Battles On or anywhere around there, I'd been like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But at Ring of Honor, I'm just like, it just doesn't fit.
Right.
So next was Dragon Lee versus Tony Deppen.
How was this?
Probably my second favorite match on the whole show, honest to God. I think Tony Deppen, man, if they don't do something with this guy, they're missing the boat.
I think so too. I'm a Deppen fan. I've only seen a few of his matches, but what I've seen is really good.
Dragon Lee did retain his title for the TV belt,
which we thought he would lose. But
yeah. Honestly, I didn't get.
He may have lost it if he fought Dak Draper. I mean,
it's possible, but we just didn't get this match right. Period. But honestly, it was my second favorite match on the card.
When predictions go wrong. Huh?
Yeah. And next was supposed to be Jay Briscoe versus EC3. Well, EC3 is another one of these guys that couldn't make the show. So as you said, Shane Taylor and him met in the back and like, hey, we got some unfinished business. And they went out there and, in my opinion, stole the show.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, they show up or shut up, and they showed up and they showed out.
Showed up and showed out, so you showed up. Huh?
Shane Taylor won, dropped him on his head. What did Jesse used to call it? Liquid Dreams?
Yeah.
But I can't remember what Shane calls it, so I'm going to say he won it with Liquid Dreams.
Well, it's the Rikishi driver.
Yeah,
or whatever
it's the set-up pile driver, but he beat him with that. And but I mean, dude, they tore it up. I mean, they went outside, inside, upside down, inside out, and everywhere else.
That's cool, man.
If anybody rents this pay-per-view, that is the match I definitely recommend to go watch.
I'm definitely waiting for O'Shea Edwards to get out there with Shane. I'm hoping that happens soon. I saw O'Shea. I think it was in something, maybe the TV leading up to the pay-per-view or something. It was a brawl with like Taven and him. And if you watch, and it might have been this, maybe I saw that match. I don't remember. It's been a while. But there's a point where I'm pretty sure that's O'Shea out there as a security guy. He's got like a mask on, so you can't tell. But like I'm pretty sure it's O'Shea.
Some people's body gives it away. Yeah. Next was Jonathan Gresham versus Flip Gordon. And again, I'm sorry I don't get Flip in this match. It was not a bad match. If I had to rank it, I'd have said it was probably the third best on the card.
Okay.
It wasn't a bad match at all. And Gresham goes over, but Flip does the no handshake.
Oh, cool.
And he walks out.
Well, hey, at least you got something out of it.
And they were saying, he didn't really respect the Fury title. He just wanted the belt.
Yeah.
And that's really what it kind of made it look like. So maybe he's going to have a nice little heel turn.
Maybe something.
But I mean, the match itself is good. Like I said, I'd probably put it third in the match.
Okay.
Show. I definitely don't say not watch it, but go out of your way and watch it.
Right.
The last match was Rush versus Brodie King. I'm sorry, I've been taught English my whole life, and this says Rush. But anyway, Rush.
Don't believe everything you're taught.
This match never really got going, in my opinion.
Okay.
I hate to say this, but it is what it is. If you watch the match, tell me, and please do in the comments if I'm wrong. I'll gladly admit I'm wrong and try to go prove it. But during the match, it looks like Brodie King gets jobbed out. He barely gets anything in this match.
Wow. Really?
I mean, nothing hardly. And the finish of it destroyed it even worse. As you see, I'm hitting the thing because it makes me mad how this ended. Their father comes out during the end of the match and busts Brodie King in the head with a damn chair. And that's the finish of the match. 1, 2, 3. The ref didn't see it. I forgot. Oh, yeah, his brother come out. Dragon Lee come out and distracted the ref. So an old dude with a chair. I'm sorry. It is what it is. It's his father.
Yeah.
With a chair hit Brodie King. All these gigantic juggernauts. And that's your finish. And then he did the don't mess with the bull. You get the horns kick in the corner. And it just was not a good finish. And I hated it. I was like, man, this is one of the matches I was really, really, really looking forward to.
It was bad.
And it never really got off the ground. They tried to do like a brawl outside, and he was literally using cables and choking Brodie, and the ref's like 1, 2, and I'm like, he would get to 5 and he'd still be choking, and I'm just like, what am I watching? I'm like, where the hell did this shit come from? Like, it really made me mad because I'm like, the whole card had been good except for the Danhausen crap. And now I'm watching this, and I'm damn near wishing I was watching Danhausen. Because they at least had wrestling.
Yeah.
The other guy would just shut up. But, I mean, it was bad, dude. It was not a good match. And I don't get the Roosh thing. I don't think he's that great, to be quite honest.
I want to see him. I want to go back and see. Well, I want to see him in the mask. Like, the look
when he comes out
cool,
in.
Yeah.
I always think of when Psychosis come out at ECW, and then he took the mask off and everybody booed him.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we wanted Psychosis, you know.
We didn't want Nicho El Millionaire.
But anyway, it just was not a good match. He retained because his daddy hit him in the head with a chair, and the ref didn't see it. And coincidentally, Brodie Lee bumped into the corner.
But yet Shane Taylor can hit him with a chair and it doesn't hurt him.
No, but this guy that's like 60-something years old bust him in the skull with a chair, and he went out. Now, he's a jacked old dude. I'll give him that. He wasn't no little fella.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a luchador, too, so I guess, stuff for the seniors. But it is what it is.
For the seniors.
Oh, well. I can't help it. I didn't book that. But as far as the rest of the show went, watch it. It was great. Yeah. You get to that match, you can watch it, too. But I'm just giving you a fair warning.
Right. Well, that was...
Final battle.
Yeah, final
2020.
So, you got any Danny Hodge memories?
I really don't. I've read more about the man than anything, and honestly, I knew more about his collegiate than I did his actual. And he had like 3 collegiate titles. That's what I knew of.
I know Danny was over huge here in Mississippi.
Yeah, that I've always heard. I just never knew nothing on it.
Like when you talk to people around here, especially old timers, they would always tell you about JYD and then Danny Hodge.
Yep.
Like he was the next guy, and a small guy, but had like double tendon strength in his hand, where so he could like crush apples and like, he'd break pliers or vice grips or whatever. And,
in fact, Pork Chop Cash is the one that really only ever told me a story about him, and he was talking about how he would, before he get in his match, he'd go in the ring and have an apple in each hand, and he would just, and he said they would explode, they turn into juice.
Yep.
So
I saw something probably, I don't know, 10 or 15, maybe 20 years ago. He was, grandpa or great grandpa, by then he was still like crushing the apples.
Try doing it sometime, dude.
So,
I can do it, but it's really, really hard. You got to really press past it.
One-handed?
Yeah. It's a small trick to it if you can do it right, but it's hard to do.
Yeah,
honestly.
I took some applesauce one time and squished it, but yeah, it was already kind of.
You can turn it into it if you could ever. A lot of the point of a strong thing like that is getting past the pain.
Right.
But if you can get your fingers in the right position of it, you can squish it.
What about Brodie Lee?
Brodie Lee, my favorite match I ever saw him in. Well, I'm gonna give you two because I saw two that I really, really love. When he was in WWE, him and Ziggler were fighting for the IC title, and it was a ladder match, and it was one of the most brutal ladder. You know what a pretty ladder match is, and everything goes perfect, but a brutal ladder match, and you're like, how the hell did they get up?
Right.
That was that match. I wish I could remember exactly when it was, but it's when he was doing his little singles run with
when
the
he
IC
first
belt.
kicked out. Yeah,
and I mean,
he was part of the Authority.
Is that what it was?
I believe so.
It was one of my favorite matches I ever saw him in. And then in Chikara, I'd found this one on YouTube years ago, but it was him and Claudio Castagnoli in a steel cage match.
Yep, that was super good.
And that match was freaking awesome.
I didn't know this. I was listening to some stuff about him today, and he did an interview on AEW Unrestricted. This was like 2 weeks after the dog collar match. It was like a week before he went into the hospital or something. So, I mean, real close to him being sick. And he was saying that he was in Ring of Honor as part of the ring crew with the Ring Crew Express, and I never knew that.
I didn't know that either.
He wasn't on camera, but he was with them, throwing ring, and they're part of the ones who helped train him.
Really?
And he ended up in Chikara because he had went out with the Olsen twins and just rode to the show, and Reckless Youth didn't show up. And Quack was like, "You got your gear?" And he was like, "Yeah, I got my gear." And that's how he got in with Chikara. He went to a show not being booked. Hey, listen to this. He went to a show not being booked, and he got booked because someone didn't show up, and he brought his gear.
Yep.
So all you guys that I've been preaching to, if you want to get somewhere, go to that place and just get seen, because eventually somebody's not going to show up.
That's what it Mr. Clappity Clap say. If you'll help me put up my ring, I'll put you in a match probably.
Yeah.
Or at least I'll get you on one eventually.
George House said, if I need somebody, I'm going to pick the guy that helped me, not the guy that watched me.
Exactly.
So go to these shows and get seen, man. Yeah, Brodie Lee was phenomenal. I used to love him in the Littlest Lumberjack.
Yes.
And then I used to love when he would beat the Littlest Lumberjack up. So.
I said, man, he was a great big man. I hate AEW lost him. We lost him, period.
Yeah, I hate his family lost him because two young kids.
Yeah, and a wife. But he had a lung infection, she said. That had nothing to do with this lovely virus going around.
Right.
So if anybody tries to throw that down your throat, she's like, no, that's not what it was. He had it well beyond before that. I don't know if they ever knew exactly what it was. Sometimes there's mystery, illnesses. Nobody knows what it is.
Who knows?
But anyway, it took the man and took him way too early. Danny was 88 years old. He's understandable.
Yeah, I mean, it's expected. He had Alzheimer's and he was in rough shape, but Brodie was prime of life.
41 years old, man.
Yeah.
So
definitely sucks. Definitely sending thoughts and prayers and all that out to the family of both of those gentlemen, but definitely Brodie and his kids.
Yeah. I hate it, but he was definitely one of my favorites. He was one of the only reasons I would even turn AEW on if I knew he was wrestling.
Yep, a great big man. So, so definitely a good guy. And I guess we'll end it here. So that's been Final Battle 2020 from Ring of Honor, and then our memories of Danny Hodge and Brodie Lee.
Yes, sir.
So until next time, guys.
Watch wrestling.
Watch wrestling.